The first time I laid eyes on her, she was scrutinizing my front door like it had stolen her last dollar. I'd barely unpacked my boxes, still reeling from the divorce that had stripped me bare. No friendly casserole or casual hello, just this piercing glare, as if I'd shattered some unspoken code. Back then, I didn't know her name. Now, I wish I could forget it. If you've ever tangled with a neighbor who wields paperwork like a blade, you might sense the storm brewing. But trust me, this twisted darker than I'd imagined. Ever crossed paths with someone like that? Hold that thought. After the ink dried on those divorce papers, I craved vanishing, not dramatically, just enough to reclaim my breath, my thoughts, myself without shadows hovering. That's how I landed this cozy lakeside bungalow in a quiet suburban enclave outside Seattle, nestled among misty pines with a view of the water that promised serenity. The whole lot was framed by a sturdy iron gate at the driveway's end, simple, unpretentious, but to me, it was armor. Privacy. Boundaries. The freedom to exist without justification. That first night, latching it shut felt like reclaiming my soul. In hindsight, that gate was a lightning rod for trouble. I'm a civil engineer by trade, so I get boundaries literal and figurative better than most. What's yours stays yours, until someone redraws the map. The red flag waved via an HOA welcome email, bloated with rules that screamed control more than courtesy. Cultivate communal harmony through transparent dialogue. It preached, demanding a profile photo for the resident directory to foster recognition and warmth. Innocent on paper, but the vibe? It echoed my ex's veiled interrogations, concern masking command. Signed by Eleanor Hargrove, HOA chair. I'd never met her, but her words dripped condescension, treating adults like errant kids. I filed it away, vowing to engage only if forced. All I wanted was solitude, morning fog over the lake, maybe a heron gliding by. That illusion shattered in 5 days. Checking mail one crisp autumn morning in 2022, a sleek black sedan rolled up. Out stepped this woman, mid-50s, impeccably coiffed auburn hair, tailored suit, screaming boardroom boss. She didn't knock. She appraised my gate like a flaw in her grand design. "Hello," she called, voice honeyed steel. "I'm Eleanor Hargrove, your HOA chair. You've surely heard of me." I hadn't, but instinct screamed caution. Approaching but not unlatching, I sensed invasion in her stance, arms crossed, eyes drilling. Our chat. Surreal. She zeroed on the gate. Our ethos promotes openness for neighborhood unity. This feels exclusionary. I blinked. Here she stood, uninvited, lecturing me on unfriendliness? "Ma'am," I replied evenly. "I chose this spot for seclusion. The gate stays." Her smile tightened, launching into a tirade on shared ethos and cooperation. Rumor had it she'd been a corporate exec before this gig, accustomed to compliance. As she drove off, her parting glance screamed war. I bolted inside, double-checking locks, ridiculous yet rattled. The divorce scars ran deep. I wasn't spoiling for another battle. But sunset over the lake, that eve couldn't erase the dread she wouldn't yield. I'd wired basic cams around the place upon arrival, ostensibly for wildlife otters, eagles. Never dreamed they'd capture human predators. Replaying that encounter, I thanked my paranoia. This gate brewed bigger headaches. Stand firm, or regret it forever. If I figured Eleanor's drop-by was isolated, reality hit harder. 2 days on, a pink sticky note clung to the latch. Embrace, openness, see. I stared, fury bubbling. She'd trespassed for this passive-aggressive jab? What next? Curtain critiques. I pocketed it, starting my Eleanor dossier. Soon, my mailbox overflowed with official HOA missives, embossed headers, legalese galore. First, driveway alignment off by inches per some arcane rule. Second, yard upkeep, odd since mine was natural, reeds by the shore. Third, excessive path lighting one solar lamp. Reading them, I wondered, gaslighting via bureaucracy? They mirrored my ex's manipulative notes, feigned worry cloaking dominance. A buddy versed in HOA wars chuckled at the absurdity, but warned of the toll. Each envelope spiked my pulse, fabricating flaws in my haven. HOAs excel at death by minutiae. Most cave to end the grind. Was that her ploy? Bury me till the gate fell? Wrong target. My engineering know-how armed me. I dissected deeds, cross-checked regs, unearthed her citations as outdated or bogus. Newer laws backed owner rights. She banked on ignorance. Tension peaked 2 weeks later. Voices outside Eleanor with two handymen, clipboards in tow, gesturing at my lot like it was hers. "We're inspecting runoff for communal safety," she announced as I emerged. The workers shifted awkwardly. One muttered about her extension zone. "No dice. Private property needs 48-hour notice and consent," I stated flatly. She bristled. "You can't hinder progress." But I stood pat. They packed up. She stormed off, fuming. 3 days later, a bombshell letter. "Gate obstructs emergency access. Fire risk remove or face suits." Heart pounding, I phoned the fire marshal. "No issue here," he said, baffled. "Who claimed that?" Explaining, he paused. "Unuswalno complaints logged." Revelation, she fabricated threats, assuming no verification. As an engineer, I verify everything. I amassed proof letters, footage, interactions. That night, nightmares gripped. Gate vanished, exposing me to prying crowds judging my life. Waking drenched, I vowed, play by rules or perish. Fate twisted on a rainy October evening. Scrolling cam feeds for a glimpsed heron, I froze. There, Eleanor at 1 a.m., flashlight and kit in hand, slinking onto my drive. She pried off my address plaque, slapped on a fake, "Shared pathway residents only." Hesitating 10 minutes, glancing furtively, knew it was wrong, yet pressed on. Madness or malice? Personal vendetta? Jaw clenched, I replayed it thrice. Trespass, vandalism over a gate? Instead of raging, I strategized. Let her unravel. Emailed the board. Unauthorized entry advise. Attached clip, neutral tone. Backlash swift. Calls, apologies flooded in. Rebecca Voss, a stranger, phoned with insider intel. Eleanor called an urgent meeting. Resident adherence concerns. Vague, but electric tension hummed. At the hall, she orated on unity, eyeing me venomously, dodging the video. Neighbors fidgeted, whispers rising. Rebecca pressed. Nighttime prowlings on private land? Silence deafened. Eleanor's masks cracked denial, fury, surrender. Misunderstanding on signage for the greater good. Laughter nearly escaped me. Post-meeting, Henry murmured, "Not the first." Clusters argued heatedly. An anon email. "We're questioning now." Rebecca texted, "Seen this pattern, kept records." Paranoia spiked en route to our off-site cafe meet. Was this a snare? But Rebecca's tense posture mirrored mine. "Eleanor's web spans wide," she said, sliding a thick folder. Ex-resident. She'd watched her aunt endure Eleanor's reign. Aunt lived here 15 years pre-Eleanor. Followed every edict. Then queried a pathway expansion and hell broke. Violations piled. Hedge too high. Mailbox shade off. Porch glow excessive. Stress shattered her aunt, sleepless, isolated, homebound. Sold out. Died soon after in care. Folder horrors. Unapproved permits for a phantom pathway. $35,000 HOA cash funneled to Eleanor's upgrades, paved drive, lights, gardens. My expertise decoded. Funds masked as shoreline enhancements, but blueprints showed personal perks. Denied city permits for environmental snags. Eleanor hit it, squeezing dissenters. Pattern, query finances. Violations swarm. Elderly duo on budgets. Fences unsafe. Lone parent on fees. Toys hazards. Fraud, not fervor. Smoking gun, I whispered. Rebecca, what now? Weight crushed. How many silenced, displaced? Weeks later, Eleanor threw a harmony gala at her estate. Lavish invites, elite roster. Builders, counselors, tycoons. Facade. Power flexed to isolate me. From my window, laughter wafted like smoke. Then, the procession, Eleanor guiding VIPs to my gate, decrying my selfishness, blocking funded pathway. Stomach nodded. This was theater, me the villain. But cracks showed. Guests murmured. Phones out. Alex, once her backer, stepped up. Documents here exposed truths. We'd looped him in. Neutral voice amplified. Copies flew. Denied permits, embezzled sums. Chaos erupted. Road unapproved. Funds where? Investors balked. Liability loomed. Eleanor's facade shattered. Guests fled. Alliances frayed. Pity flickered. A titan toppled by hubris. Yet Susan's words echoed. Quit, and she prays anew. Post-fiasco silence lasted days. Blissful delusion. Then, doom. Forged city notices on doors, mailboxes me bungalow code violated, demolition imminent unless absurd fixes, seismic retrofits, industrial sprinklers, in 24 hours. Copies to all, letter blaming my recklessness, endangering lives. Panic calls poured. Your fault. But fake screamed. City confirmed. No records. Fraud. Cams nailed at Eleanor at midnight. Printing seals. Distributing deceit. Desperation raw. Not ambition. Delusion. Posted footage online. Fakes confirmed distributor exposed. Outrage ignited. Mobs at her door. Forged orders? Betrayal. Voices swelled. Crimes. Eleanor crumbled on steps. Protected you sacrifices misunderstood. Emergency summit packed. Fury palpable. Eleanor gaslit. Cared too deeply punished for vision. But evidence avalanche Rebecca's timeline. Alex's testimony crushed her. Vote. Ousted unanimously. Charges flew. Fraud. Forgery. Theft $70,000 unearthed. Clawed back. Rebecca chaired. Mandating transparency. Checks. 8 months on. Lake mists bring true peace. Neighbors nod warmly. Lily waves biking by. Mom shares pies. Gate. Emblem of defiance. Eleanor fell not to smarts, but lies crumbling. Truth breaches any barrier. Was Eleanor's greater good just veiled tyranny? Should HOAs be abolished to curb such abuse? Ever battled unchecked power, or folded to avoid the fight? Drop your takes below. Does standing ground justify the chaos? Like if this gripped you, comment your stories, subscribe for more raw truths.